Hello, guys, and today I'm going to discuss Trump's surrender to the Taliban. Now, recently, America and the Taliban have signed a peace agreement stating that America will withdraw all its troops from Afghanistan and no longer attack the Taliban in return for the Taliban agreeing not to attack America or its allies, um, even via supporting third parties such as Al Qaeda. Okay, so why has this happened? Well, essentially, it's because I think Trump has surrendered to the Taliban. He's just decided that it's just too hard to defeat them, it's taken too long to defeat them, and he just thinks it's not worth bothering with anymore. I also think he's surrendered deliberately because he doesn't want to see any more American soldiers get killed or imprisoned in Afghanistan. His view is, what's this got to do with us? His view is that 9/11 happened. I'll rephrase it. I suspect what he possibly thinks is that 9/11 happened a long time ago. Maybe many of the original soldiers involved in it from the Taliban side are probably now dead, or no longer, or no longer active, or whatever. And I think he just thinks enough's enough. I think the real aim is just to move American soldiers out of harm's way, and so by doing so, he has effectively surrendered. He thinks by surrendering to the Taliban, he can then move all American soldiers out of Afghanistan, save money, and save American lives. Donald Trump is not a globalist. He doesn't care what happens in Afghanistan. He doesn't care how many women are killed because they tried to study at school or at a university. All he cares about is America, and he has an American first policy, which is to be respected to some extent. Often people think, well, why should America and other countries interfere in other countries and their cultures? You may not agree with the way certain countries lead their lives, but is it really right to go in there and take over and interfere? I think that's what Trump has done. Trump has decided to surrender to the Taliban in return for getting out and letting them kill each other in Afghanistan without American interference. This means that his view is if a bunch of Afghans kill each other and a bunch of women get killed for not wearing a hijab or whatever they wear, their head coverings, he probably thinks, who cares? It's not our problem. At least American soldiers won't be being killed. It'll just be other Afghans being killed. That's what I believe he thinks, okay? He probably thinks the place is a hellhole and he doesn't care what happens there, in my opinion. Should he be respected for that? Should you say, well, okay then, should he be applauded for quitting and for giving up and not continuing the war until every last Taliban soldier had been exterminated, to use a Doctor Who phrase, or annihilated, or massacred, depending on your ideal term? Or shall we do what America and Trump has done, which is to effectively surrender, let the Taliban regroup, increase in number, and maybe one day even take over the country again? Providing, because what you have to understand is, my understanding is the peace agreement was between America and the Taliban, and my understanding is that the Taliban agreed not to attack America and its allies. But the question is Afghanistan an ally of America or not? It's debatable. Does America see Afghanistan as an ally? In other words, is America allowing the Taliban to attack the Afghan government? Or is that part of the agreement that America doesn't care if the Afghan government is attacked by the Taliban or not? Is that part of the agreement or not? I don't know. What does America decide is an ally? Will America use this in future to blackmail other countries and say, either you give us the total trade deal we want, or we'll claim you're no longer an ally of us, in which case then the Taliban can kill you and we won't care? it's a difficult issue. On the other hand, should Trump be applauded for at least trying to create peace, rather than allowing war to continue? I think in an ideal world, perhaps, um, you should have peace, but to be honest, I'm rather suspicious as to whether the Taliban, given that they are generally a military organisation anyway, whether they truly can be trusted. And when you've got people like the Taliban apologising for killing a girl, not because they shot her by mistake, not because they shot her because she done something really bad. Apparently, she tried to go to school, so they shot her. The Taliban leader of the time, who I think may now be dead, I'm not sure, apologised to her because they didn't actually finish the job. He apologised to her because she actually lived after they shot her. And he said that they should have shot her dead rather than simply injured her. And he apologised that she'd been injured rather than killed. This is the kind of organisation we're dealing with, okay? An organisation that believes in assassinating children and murdering them just because they want to get an education. Is that the kind of organisation you can really trust to keep a peace agreement? Or is this going to be like Hitler did, where Hitler originally agreed to a peace deal, but this just bought him time to allow him to, build more weapons and to train troops ready for World War II. All this, Hitler's view at the time was, you have a piece of paper, but we've got lots of tanks. Maybe the Taliban will do the same. But America might take the view, well, we don't care what you do, providing you just leave us and our allies alone. If you want to kill each other or kill anybody else, we will turn a blind eye. We will not care anymore, as long as you do not kill American soldiers, or, British people or something. I don't know, right? So, I believe that Trump has basically surrendered to the Taliban, and as a result of that, there may be an insurgence of the Taliban within Afghanistan, but not on peaceful terms. They may increase the fighting within Afghanistan, but America might take the view, we don't care, it's an internal issue, and at least American lives aren't being lost. So I believe that Trump has surrendered to the Taliban in return for the Taliban not attacking American soldiers, because he's just going to pull the hell out. Do you think that's a good idea? Do you think it's good that Trump has surrendered? What are your thoughts? And can the Taliban be trusted? I don't trust the Taliban to keep their word, personally, but maybe I'm just prejudiced. And maybe I've just been brainwashed with Western media. And maybe they've fed up with the fighting as well. Maybe they just want peace themselves. And maybe they just want some sort of coexistence where they have an agreement that, I don't know, maybe Afghans that want to follow their way of life can follow their way of life, and Afghans that want to follow the more Western way of life can follow the way of life dictated to by the current Afghan government. Okay, maybe one day the Taliban will take part in democratic elections in Afghanistan, and maybe they'll rise to power again. Maybe even with the blessing of the Afghans. I have no idea. We've no idea what's going to happen now that America has surrendered. But as America has surrendered, we will see what happens. Okay? So do you think America surrendering to the Taliban was a good idea or a bad one? Leave your comments below. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye!